hold on. You gotta make sure the drip. You gotta make sure the drip is immaculate out here. You gotta make sure it's looking good. You got the Superman fit on underneath. The Clark Kent jacket from Smallville on. Gotta make sure you representing out here. So, goddamn, discourse is just such an interesting thing because one of the topics that like a bunch of people have been talking about online, right? Is the fact that Superman is too woke in this film. He's he's talking about being anti-billionaires and being nice to people and not caring where people are from, but being willing to help folks. That's a horrible take. James Gunn doesn't know what he's doing. Zack Snyder had it completely under control. Release the Snyder Cut! Justice League 2! Let me explain something to you. I fucking love Zack Snyder's Justice League. But I have had an epiphany, a realization over this weekend, which is that his version of Superman just wasn't a good adaptation. His version of Superman is what the adult me wanted. I wanted a Superman that was more serious. The adult me here talking. I wanted a Superman that was more serious. I wanted a Superman that was throwing hands. I wanted a Superman that was moving more like Batman. Because that is the direction that a lot of comic book media was essentially going in. It was going in the direction of far more serious characters. James Gunn's Superman spoke to that 10-year-old me that picked up a Superman comic for the very first time. It spoke to that young boy that was just getting into DC and loved watching Superman, who loved watching the Adventures of Superman on Cartoon Network, who woke up every single morning on a Saturday in order to watch new episodes of Static Shock, who stayed up later to watch episodes of Justice League, who watched Teen Titans, who watched all of these fantastic DC media, all the movies that came out: Superman Red Sun, All Star Superman, Batman Under the Red Hood, Batman Hush, everything. Consumed it all. It spoke to that younger version of me that I had low key almost forgotten, which is when the movie was over, that 14-year-old version of me was just like this. As he laid back there in the chair and that song was playing, "It's just a punk rocker, yes I am," I realized this is what we needed. We needed someone to be the Boy Scout, to be that person that we wouldn't mind walking behind. Where you come to understand, like that random deli owner that wasn't willing to snitch on Clark, or from the animated series, Dan Turpin, who was the officer that hated Superman at first, but then came around to be inspired by him and then sacrificed his life talking shit to Darkseid. It's the realization that maybe the outlook that I had on comic books, where I needed them to be more dark and more serious and more grounded, was because I had become more jaded about life. And then here comes this character with his dumb jokes, his horrible taste in pop rock bands, who was saving the random deli owner at the beginning, who saved the little girl from the pipes, who saved the Asian lady from being stomped on, who swooped in and stopped the building from crushing that one lady, and then stood there floating in the air, watching and making sure that she got away across the bridge. The Superman that's willing to snatch up a squirrel, but at the exact same time, the one that does not stand for injustice. that does not turn the other cheek when he sees something going wrong, who doesn't shy away and look away from it. That he's like, no, people were gonna die, and I went in there to help them. That version of Superman, the one who can hear a girl crying and being ready to jump off of a building and swoop in and speak to her and take her to a therapist, and when she's sure that it's just a one-off, he shows up next week even though he doesn't have to check to see how she's doing. The version of Superman that could land on scaffolding and speak with construction workers and then sit down and share a sandwich with him, and when the construction worker is like, why do you really do this, he turns around, he tells it true, which is that you're braver than I am. You're up here building these skyscrapers with wind and all of these other hazards, and I'm bulletproof and I'm indestructible. You've got more courage being a human being than I do. The version of Superman that hears a kid being abused by his dad and can turn on that Batman switch and put the fear of God in him, and then fly across Metropolis and help a cat out of the tree and return it to a little girl, or land at a sidewalk and help an old woman cross the street. That version of Superman, the one that inspires you, that gives you hope, that makes you feel as though, you know what, maybe I can go out here and in my small way make a fucking difference. That speaks to a version of us that over the years, through all of Marvel, through all of the dark versions of the character, through all of the remakes and revisits to all these different worlds where we've made Superman such a more serious and brooding character that was always Batman's thing. It speaks to the 14-year-old version of us that watched him in awe as he took flight, as he raced the Flash, as he was doing all of these super dope things while being one of the nicest people on the entire planet. And that final sequence where he's laying there, and I know that there are a bunch of people that they are not fans of the way in which they changed the lore for Krypton, but I feel like the payoff at the end was there. The conversation he has with Lex, which is like, yes, I'm invulnerable, yes, I'm indestructible, but what makes me human is that I fail. I fail and I get up every single day and I try to be a little bit better. That is what makes me human. And then he sits there in the chair just before he starts to get healed, and they're like, you know, hey, play the play the clips of my parents once again, it soothes me. And you think he's gonna play the first part of that message from his parents and completely forget about the second part, and it's not. It's his human parents who raised him. It's his birthdays. It's his trips to Disney World. It's the presents that he got. It's playing catch in the backyard with his dad. It's making a pie with his mom. It's going around Smallville with his friends. That's my version of Superman. That's why I rock with this version. And that's no shade to Henry Cavill. I will sit here and I will make a 30-minute fucking video explaining all the different ways that Zack Snyder, DC, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, all of them let down Henry Cavill and completely ruined and butchered his Superman character. But I can stand on my laurels and say, this is the version of the character that we needed. The version that makes you want to rock the merch. The version that makes you want to walk out there and, you know, maybe you can't do a lot to make your environment or your world a little bit better, but you put one foot in front of the other and you reach down and you help somebody that's unfortunate, that needs just a little bit of assistance and a little bit of boost. So yes, if kindness is woke, if being anti-billionaire who's funding wars and making everybody's lives absolutely miserable is woke, is if fighting against the toxic hate farms that exist online, not trying to push an agenda, but just farming clips so that they can get paid, being against that is woke, I'm the wokest motherfucker you've ever met. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like kind Superman, inspirational Superman, or are you somebody that prefers your Superman to be a little bit more like Homelander? Comment down below, let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.